Alright guys, Darren from FBA Elite and welcome back to another video. So I've noticed that this year, particularly in 2024, that more sellers than ever before seem to be coming to me because they are struggling to find their first product. And unfortunately, I'm seeing some sellers give up altogether. And it's really sad to see when you know someone's discovered a business model that has huge potential, they're super excited about starting their own business and they end up giving up on it because they can't find their first product. And you may have noticed that over the past couple of months, I've been making more regular product research videos as I really want to help you guys get over that hurdle. Obviously, I have mentorship in the course, but they're all paid services. So for the YouTube content, I want to try and give you some free advice that will help you find your first product. So in this video, I'm going to show you a product research method that you guys may not have seen before, or if you have seen it, you may not have utilized it correctly. And I want you to try this for yourself, as I know how unexciting product research can be. It's very monotonous, doing the same thing over and over again. So maybe just trying a new method for a few days to see what you can find. Hopefully it will freshen things up, and hopefully it will give you a great chance of finding your first product if you haven't already. So what we're going to do, we're going to be using Helium 10, but we're not going to be using the black box product search, which is what most people will use. So most people, when they're doing their product research, they'll use a tool like Black Box and then they'll put their filters in and Black Box will return a list of products. But what I want you to do instead is to actually click on the keywords tab. So most people never actually get past this first products tab, but click on keywords tabs and I'm going to show you some filters you can use that hopefully are going to return some products that you can look through and hopefully find a product of interest to you and your individual circumstances. So I'm going to go through the filters from left to right and just fill in the ones that I feel are important. So the first one is your search volume. Actually, just very quickly up here, make sure you have the correct storefront selected. I think it defaults to Amazon.com quite often, so make sure you choose .co.uk. So the search volume, as an absolute minimum, based on my experience of analyzing probably tens of thousands of niches over the past 6 years, for a keyword to have enough search volume for it to be the main keyword for a particular product, it's going to have a minimum search volume of around about 2,000. And a maximum search volume, well, it doesn't really have a maximum, but as a new seller on Amazon, you want to avoid niches that have crazy high sales. You don't want to go into a niche where everyone's selling 500 or 1,000 units per month. A better fit would be something maybe between 100 to 300 units per month. So you don't want something with a crazy high search volume, otherwise demand will be too high. So I'm going to put in a maximum of a 10,000 search volume. I'm not going to pop in revenue, but I am going to populate price. So I always talk about a minimum of a £15 price point for new sellers that aren't VAT registered, or if you are VAT registered, then £20 price point. What I'm going to put for this video, I'm going to put £19 because if I'm searching the £20 filter, I don't want to miss out on the ones that are priced at £19.99 and miss it by a penny. So I'm going to put £19 and see what products come back. And as a maximum, I'm going to put in, I guess, maybe £30, £35, but really it's up to you. All I would say is often when you do these searches, Helium 10 is only going to return 200 results at a time, but often it has thousands of products that you can't see. So sometimes with the price, just do this in smaller increments. So you might want to search, for example, 19 to £22 initially and look at those 200 products, then do £23 to £25. But for this video, let's just do £30. I don't pay any attention to review counts, review ratings, but word count, I want there to be at least 2 keywords in the search term. If there's less than 2 keywords in a search term, then it's probably going to have a very, very high search volume. It's also not going to be very specific either, so there'll be pretty generalized results in the search results. We've then got to choose a category. So go through these and see which ones are of interest. I'm going to choose home and kitchen for this video, as I know generally that will return interesting results for the purposes of this video. Keyword search, I'm going to ignore exclude keywords. I'm going to ignore shipping size tier. Now, this is one you do want to populate. Let me scroll down so you guys can see. We want to ignore all of the oversized ones. So small letter is fine, large letter, small envelope, large envelope, standard parcel. I don't want standard oversize, extra large envelopes fine, and small parcels fine. So I don't want any of the oversized tiers because the fulfillment fees go up very, very quickly. Ignore number of sellers, variation count, monthly sales. Now this is a good one for new sellers. So I'm going to put between 100 and 300 as I see this as a sweet spot for most new sellers, but it will depend on your individual circumstances, depending on how much budget you've got. If you're on the lower side, you might want to aim for 100 units per month. If you've got a bigger budget and have a greater risk appetite, then maybe 300 units per month, but you've got to figure that out for yourself. And then the rest of these filters, there's not really much you need to do. You can tweak and play about with this yourself, but those main filters I've given you there should hopefully, I'm going to try now, hopefully bring back some interesting search terms for us to look at. And hopefully it will give you guys something to do this weekend at the very least. So if I just hide the webcam, you can see there is a search button there. So click on the search button. Helium 10, or should I say Black Box from Helium 10, will do its magic. And if we scroll down, we start to see some search term suggestions. Some that you probably would never heard of before, you know, panda pillow, a black hole burner, mini waffle maker. So, and you just go through these and you know that every single one of these search terms meets the criteria you outlined here. So you know it's got a good search volume. You know it's going to return products with an average price point. So it says here, average price for the top products is between 19 and 30 pound. There's at least 2 keywords in the search term, and the average number of sales from the previous 30 days for the top products is between 1 to 300 units per month. So it's a good place to start. So I'm just going to scroll down to see if there's anything that jumps out at me, just based on my own preferences for things that I prefer to avoid and things that are of interest to me. So for example, a mini waffle maker, that's likely to be electronics, so I'm going to avoid that. A backhoe burner, that sounds like a brand name, so I probably would ignore that. But actually, I'm not 100% sure. So let's view this on Amazon. I want to see what this is, whether it is a brand name or whether it's something. Oh, some sort of incense burner, is it? Interesting. Let me just run Helium 10 X-ray on this just very quickly. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent here just looking at these products. This is what happens with product research. You kind of go down rabbit holes and you end up looking at some random products and discovering products you never heard of in your life. The demand is far too low here, so quickly shut that down and move on to the next product. And that's one of the things for doing product research for new sellers. As soon as you see one thing doesn't stack up, just get out. Don't waste any time on it. Don't spend 10, 15 minutes on a niche. If the demand isn't there or the price point isn't there, just get out and focus on the next products. Panda pillow. Let's take a look at this. Panda pillow. Okay, so Panda is clearly a brand name by the looks of it. More so than people actually want in Panda pillows. So I'm going to skip that as well. Heated lunchbox, that sounds like it's going to be electronics. Knife holder, if that comes with knife, I have no interest because yeah, a lot of these top listings are coming with knives rather than just being a knife holder on their own. I've got no interest in getting involved in that. Pizza peel, I can imagine that's going to have a very limited price point. It said £19.14 though, so let's take a look. Actually, do you know what? I will tell you now, and I'm sure the person I worked with many years ago on this product won't mind me sharing this, is don't go into this niche. I'll tell you why. The person that went into this niche, they went into this niche before they came to me. It must be 3-4 years ago now they came to me. And they were ending up spending the best part of £5 per click on sponsored ads. Now, generally launching a new product, you might bid between £1 to £2, but it was being forced to bid £4 or £5 per click. And trying to launch a product became basically impossible based on the demand levels. And it's also very seasonal as well. So I'm going off on a tangent again. Mini sewing machine, a towel rack. Let's have a look at a towel rack. Now that sounds like it might be a bit on the large size, but let's see. Freestanding towel racks, wall mounted. So you'd have to go through this and figure out where the demand is. Is it wall mounted? Is it freestanding? Is it small hanger style? So again, quite a variation. I'll probably skip that. Drink dispenser. That could be all types of different drink dispenser, couldn't it? Fancy jar. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Interesting. It says fragile to me all over that. That's going to get broken, so I'm going to skip that. This is how my mind works while I'm doing product research, but I'm not saying what I'm doing is right or wrong. This is how I quickly skip through search results. So you can see I've already gone through 5-6 products already. Carpet sweeper. I was going to do this until actually I find an example product that is at least interesting for us to analyze. So these look fairly, I remember these from back in the old days. Everyone seemed to have one of these in their caravan, didn't they? Let's take a look at X-ray and see. Surely there can't be that much demand for these, can there? Let's take a look. Take out the sponsored results. Apply filters. There is some demand. I mean, as a new seller, if you were targeting maybe 100, 150 units per month, then potentially, I mean, the demand doesn't run very deep at all. Maybe if you were happy to settle for less than 100 units per month, but aimed for 100, 150, then potentially. And price points are right actually. And obviously depends how much you can source the unit for. You've got quite enough evidence here of 25, 26, 20. You've got at least 5 sellers selling above £20. And that's when I refer to a landing zone. I've talked about landing zones in previous videos. When I talk about a landing zone, I mean a body of evidence of at least 4 or 5 sellers achieving the type of price point you will be aiming for. So if you go into that niche, you've got a good chance of being able to attain the same sort of price point and also proven demand at that price point as well. So when I say landing zone, that is what I mean. And this is quite a nice place for the landing zone to be. I don't want it to be directly at the top. I don't want it to be too far down the page. I want it to be somewhere in the middle, as this should be obtainable with your rankings. So that is a half an interesting product. You might put that on your shortlist and then carry on with your product research. And that's another tip I'll give you when you're doing your product research. If you do find something of interest, just literally do what I've done there. gone, okay, possibly interested, put it on a shortlist and move on to your next product. Spend one session doing your shortlisting and then a completely separate session going through that shortlist, excluding some of the products that don't stack up and deep diving on the rest. If you deep dive as you go, you won't get anywhere. You'll waste hours on one product and you'll wonder why you wasted all that time. So I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of new sellers struggle with product research and then give up on it, because they spend a day finding a product, they find one product, they deep dive on it, they start contacting the Alibaba suppliers, they spend another day or two waiting for them to come back, and then eventually they get the replies and maybe the figures don't stack up and they've wasted 3 or 4 days looking at one product and they've got nowhere. Whereas by doing it this way, within an hour, you're probably going to have 10 to 20 shortlisted products that then your next session you can deep dive, and of that there'll probably be 3 to 5 products you'll start contacting Alibaba suppliers about, so you can check the margins fully stack up and then you can decide which one of those you want to take forward further. Serving platter, rapid call, candle making kits for adults. That's interesting. That's going to be a partially giftable item, I'd imagine. Oh no, that's just put me off straight away. If you ever see a niche like this where the images are just stuffed with bundle items and it's just a numbers game, there's so much noise. How are you going to stand out when there's that much noise in a niche? It's just like, no, straight away, I'll ignore that. Kitchen mats, non-slip, washable. Interesting. Let's see what this is. I wasn't actually expecting this. Well, I thought it was going to be some sort of heat-proof mat you put on the side that you put your pots and stuff on, but people actually got floor mats in their kitchen. Random. Let's take a look. Let's see what the demand levels are like. This is the thing with product research. I didn't even know this type of product existed before today. So when you go down these rabbit holes, you're never quite sure what you're going to find. And if you mix it up, maybe sometimes you do black box by product, sometimes you do black box by keywords, sometimes doing your store raider technique, sometimes you're walking in to your local Sainsbury's and you're going to the homeware section looking at products. If you keep mixing up your product research a bit, it keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting, and hopefully it keeps you motivated enough to find your own product. So initially, the 2 things I always focus on, price and sales. We have $21.99, $24.39. So we have proven demand above the £20 price point. That is critical. And we have demand, which is actually a much better spread than we saw in that previous example. If you were targeting 150 units per month and you could get ranked in the top 10 to 20 organic positions, it looks like it's certainly possible to achieve that. So that'll be another one I'll pop onto my shortlist, and I'll come back the following day or later that day and I'll do the full analysis on all of this to see how things stacked up. So this video so far I've been recording for 13 minutes or so, and I've already got 2 products on my shortlist. And if I continue doing this, so I've got 5 pages of results here, there's 200 to go in this batch of results. If I tweak these filters a bit, I can just get this constant supply of different results for me to go through. And if you do this for a couple of sessions, you can have a great shortlist that you can then deep dive on further. So if you are stuck on your product research, mix things up for a few days, pay the cost of Helium 10 for a month. I don't know what it's going to cost you, maybe $60, $70 if you use the discount codes. I'll pop some up at the moment. I'll pop some discount codes that you can use. Try it for a month and just see. Either try black box products or black box keywords and see if you can find a product for your Amazon FBA business. If you are genuinely stuck on Amazon FBA though and you can't find your first product, I've got another video designed to focus purely on that. It talks you through finding your first product. It's going to be a thumbnail now that says, can't find your first product. Click on that thumbnail now and I'll see you guys over there.